Hi, and welcome to Tony's Cool Tools. If it's your first time, thanks for stopping. In today's video, I'm going to show you a brand new multifunctional attachment that'll fit on the front of your tractor or on your skid steer. So stay tuned. So for those of you who watch my channel regularly, you know I've reviewed multiple different grapples on my channel. Well, today I'm lucky enough to review one that's brand new out there. Let me show you. When we mention specific brands in the industry, we have an expectation on whether that brand is quality or whether it's junk. For the last 10 years, Eastonmade here has manufactured products that are in the industry known as some of the top ones out there. In fact, some people say they're overbuilt. And many times, I must agree, they are extremely well built, like a tank. Eastonmade is well known for being one of the top manufacturers of wood splitters and wood processors, but they're also expanding their portfolio to include grapples. Now this is the FG42 or the Firewood grapple. They also make this in a 60-inch, a 75, and a 96, and make it in a single or double lid, as you'll see shortly. Now if you're looking for a review on a double lid, check out Heath from Hardworking Man. He had purchased one of the first grapples on the market from Eastonmade and has been using it and is in love with it. So let me give you some details on this FG42 before we start demoing it. And initially it was made for mini skid steers. However, it fits perfectly on a tractor and I'll explain why. This will work fantastic on utility and compact tractors, but not subcompact tractors, and I'll explain why in a second. The grapple, as you see it here, weighs 530 pounds. Now that's including these side plates on either side, which are removable, and I'll show you that momentarily. So if you're looking at a subcompact, you're cutting your lifting capacity probably by half, because at 530 pounds, that's a heck of a lot of weight to be lifting, not including any logs or brush. However, if I remove the two side plates, I go from 530 to 460, which is 100 pounds more than my loader bucket, both the standard one, the 66-inch that comes with the Coyote, or my Tomahawk material bucket. So that's not too terribly much. And with a lifting capacity that I have here of about 1,800 pounds, 460 or 530, whichever, is no big deal. The grapple is made out of AR400 steel. And as we all know, that's super tough stuff for any equipment on the front or the back of your tractor. And these fangs right here, these three fangs, are 3/4 of an inch thick. And these tines at the bottom here for scarifying, they're 1/2 inch thick. You're not going to bend those at all. Now one thing Andrew from Eastonmade says, it's hard to make something of quality and make it light. So as you can see, some people say stuff is overbuilt, and you might have an argument there. Now I don't know if this was designed this way or came by accident, but the width on this FG42 is 42 inches. And the opening mouth from tip to tip here is 42 inches as well. So you can put a lot of logs in here. The width inside here, or the depth in here, is 31 inches. And the spacing from each of these scarifiers or tines is between 7 and 7.5 inches. And as you can tell, it is also powder coated, so you don't have to worry about it rusting if you leave it outside. Any pivot point has a hardened bushing with a zerk for lubricating the grapple. I had mentioned previously a really cool feature on this FG42 grapple, and that is removable sides. Now, 90% of the time for me, and everyone's needs are different, but for me, these sides are going to be off. And the reason is I do a lot of cleanup and log pickup. For me, I need the inside depth and the ability to pick up a lot of brush. With the sides, that limits you. And just a heads up, if you go to remove these are 1.5 inch bolts on here, and they're grade 8. So you will need something larger than a standard crescent wrench. You can go ahead with a 16-inch crescent wrench or an adjustable wrench, or what most of us probably have is a 14-inch pipe wrench. That will work on here as well. I'm fortunate enough to have some 3/4 of an inch impacts. Even though these are the cheap Taiwan ones, they do work, and this makes the job so much easier. And once you replace it and remove this, you don't have to remove all three. You don't have to remove all 3 bolts, just one. Now you just lift this up, and that's all it takes. So many of my grapples that I have just have loose hoses here. And the nice thing about the Eastonmade is that they are wrapped with this coil wrapping here, so they'll stop any abrasion if it starts rubbing against the grapple or any part of the tractor. And in the event you should order one of these grapples, just wanted to give you a heads up. If you're ordering it for a skid steer in most cases, you will get flat face couplers, which are the best in the industry. However, myself, I have the ag type fittings, so I had to just buy these and replace them myself. So if you talk to the salesperson, just let them know you have a tractor and that you have ag type fittings, and they might be able to switch these out for you. So the last detail I wanted to mention is the price. It's $28.99. Now that's the current published price on the Eastonmade webpage. Now that may have changed due to the tariffs, but I would check with them first, but that does include shipping. So it's not a bad deal when you think about what you're getting here for that, and that's for the FG42. So now that I've given you the details on this FG42, let's put it to use. I've taken the sides off. And as I said before, my primary use for this is property maintenance and picking up logs so that I can buck them. So we're going to take piles like this, which will either be habitat piles for animals or burn piles. I'm at my buddy Dick's house, and what we're doing is we're getting rid of these piles here due to the fact that we're going to have a prairie burn here in the next day or two. So we don't want additional fuel. So I'll show you how advantageous this is. And as I mentioned before, I like this FG42 or the 42-inch one because I can get in piles. And if I had the 60, 75, or 96, yes, I can pick up maybe larger piles, but you can only pick up so much because that's 31 inches. So with this 42, I'm going to be doing as much as the 75 or 60. So here we go. So I had to stop and give you my thoughts. Both Dick and I were wowed at how much this can pick up. This thing has picked up more than any of the other grapples that I own, except maybe for one. But this thing is phenomenal as how much material I can pick up. Now, if you had a 74 or a 50 horsepower or larger, and you were using the 60, 75, or the 96, yes, you might be able to pick up more, but you have larger lift capacity than I do here. But as you saw, I picked up that huge pile, which I never have been able to do that much. So kudos and A+ on picking up brush like this. We showed you how easy it was to pick up brush. Now we're going to use the root rake portion of it. Now this is a low growing cedar right over here and a jack pine. And these are, though not necessarily invasives, they grow all over quickly. So we're going to see if we can pick these up. We do have a tree puller, but it's so much easier if we could take roots and all out of here with the FG42 grapple here. Let's give it a try. That worked out pretty doggone good. We're going to go ahead and try a larger one. Not too bad. So naturally, as I said before, one of the #1 reasons why I like this grapple is the ability to pick up large logs, just like this, or my 100-inch logs when I get a triaxle delivered. And you can pick up multiple logs. But this one's starting to get to the capacity here of my tractor. And also, this is going to be a habitat log. So we're going to put it on some piles here. Check it out. Doesn't get much easier than that. And multiple logs are a breeze as well. Here's another example of multiple log pickup in a tight driveway. Now I didn't have my ballast box on, so the rear tires were coming off a little bit, but as soon as I got back on flat ground, no problem. Loading a trailer is a breeze. Now that we've bucked up some logs here, we're going to put them in our trailer. This is super easy to do with this FG42. The other thing I wanted to mention on why I chose the FG42 is because it is 42 inches and narrower. I can get in between trees much easier than a 60 or a 75-inch grapple. That makes me more efficient on my property. Maybe not on yours, but that's why this 42 is perfect and ideal for me. One other thing I wanted to mention was the fact of visibility. Looking through the tines, you could be so precise on picking up even one stick of split wood, like I'm showing here. Now, though I've taken off the side plates on this, I'll show you how it works with rocks, these boulders here, that you can move them around your property easily. So as I mentioned, I'm at my buddy Dick's house, and this is Dick, and we've done a lot of work here, and we wanted to test out this new grapple, this FG42. And let me tell you, here are the key findings that we found. It is incredible. The amount of stuff that you can pick up with it is phenomenal. And that holds true with either logs, rocks, or brush. Now, Dick has a traditional clam style grapple, and when I asked him, he was flabbergasted at how much brush I could pick up. One scoop of this was only, we had a pile, he said, how much, a quarter of it?
I don't think I could have pulled a fourth or a third of what you did in one bite with mine, and mine is actually a little wider than this, but this machine was just, I wasn't sure what to expect when you told me what you were bringing over.
I know you were.
The more I watched you do work with it, it was, I continued to be more and more amazed, and its ability to grab brush was incredible, but also rocks and
well, you were skeptical about the fact that, well, this is only 42 inches. What are you going to do with 42 inches? So longer isn't always better.
I would say at least in the grapples.
In grapples, yeah. So, no.
I think not only is this super heavy-duty piece of equipment, but the design of it, the shape itself, I look, it's more like a beak.
You were saying like an eagle, like an eagle's beak.
Where mine is very traditional, heavy duty, no problems, it's reliable, but it's more like a clam closing. And it doesn't leave this wide space to grab bigger logs, multiple rocks, or huge amounts of brush.
Well, I think Eastonmade has a winner on their grapple line here with this design here.
They sure do.
Yep.
They sure do.
So I'll have information in the info section below on this on Eastonmade. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and give me a thumbs up as well. And remember, pass it forward, make the world a better place. And don't be a tool. Watch Tony's Cool Tools. Until we see you next time, have a great day.